first to Jordan Fury. He's been our program coordinator for about a year now. We had an opportunity to nominate Jordan for an award with the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association, and I'm happy to announce and congratulate him that he won a $500 scholarship towards his education from the Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association. He was awarded at a banquet last Tuesday afternoon at the Mohegan Sun, and I just wanted to make sure it was acknowledged, and everybody's wonderful job he's doing with us in the city, and he's moving forward with his education and doing a wonderful job with us here. So thank you and congratulations, Jordan.
Do you want to say something?
He said no.
No, okay. Congratulations, Jordan. We're very proud of you. That's awesome.
Jordan, congratulations. Part of the Stop and Shop family. You know, this is what you do. Thank
I love
you.
that.
See you, Jake.
What are you studying?
Sports management.
Sports management. Wonderful.
We appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. It does say on our recognition, or on our agenda, that the police department was going to come. They are unable to come tonight, so hopefully they will come next time. So we're going to move on to receipt of citizens' petitions and comments. Receipts of citizens' petitions is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from the citizens. To address the council, please sign the sheet on the table in the front of the meeting room. When you are recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentation should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the response to citizens' petitions portion of the meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone who signed up?
We do, 3. First, Jeremiah Gilmore.
Okay.
Okay. Jeremiah Gilmore, Groton Firefighters Union, Local 1964. Good evening. Tonight I am speaking on behalf of Groton Firefighters Union and also as the initial incident commander of the Groton Towers fire that took place on October 11th of this year. I want to share this incident with you because it clearly demonstrates how dangerously low staffing levels are impacting the operation in the city of Groton. What happened that afternoon is not theoretical. It is a real and recent example of challenges we face every single day. At 4:52 p.m., the City of Groton Fire Department was dispatched to a structure fire with people trapped at Groton Towers. As Engine 11 responded, dispatch advised that they were starting additional resources due to receiving multiple 911 calls reporting an active fire with several occupants unable to escape. Engine 11 arrived first on scene with only 2 personnel, myself and firefighter Kevin Price. Upon arrival, we immediately observed significant fire coming from 2 of the 4 floors, and between 10 and 12 occupants trapped on balconies calling for help. There are many lessons learned from this incident, but there are 2 that I want to highlight tonight because they emphasize the staffing challenges we face. The first is the simple fact that for the first several critical minutes, only 2 firefighters were left to handle the responsibilities that typically require 4 firefighters and an incident commander. Recognizing the severity of the fire and the number of people trapped, I took immediate action and began applying water using master stream. Operating that master stream required climbing on top of the engine to flow a large volume of water. While I was committed to that action, Kevin started pumping the engine for the master stream, stretching a hose line, grabbing hand tools, and finished gearing up so he could initiate an interior attack the moment additional help arrived. The second point I want to stress is that as the initial incident commander, I could not fully carry out my command responsibilities because I was forced to take on direct firefighting tasks due to the lack of available personnel. Although deploying the master stream was tactically sound, it placed me physically on top of the engine, operating equipment, rather than overseeing the overall coordination of the incident. I found myself simultaneously performing direct firefighting actions while also attempting to direct incoming units to secure water supply, organize an interior fire attack, direct units to begin rescue operations for trapped occupants, request multiple ambulances for potential victims, and call for additional alarms to get more manpower. During this time, our dispatch center was trying to relay information from more 911 callers reporting that they were trapped. Adding to the confusion, I did not know whether these occupants were the ones visible on the balconies or additional occupants trapped in their apartments. Unfortunately, because I was engaged in too many critical tasks at once, several attempts by dispatch to contact me were unanswered. Even more concerning, I missed 2 urgent radio transmissions from crews inside the building. One reporting that they had located a victim and needed help removing them, and the other requesting an increase in water pressure in the hose line. When the person responsible for command cannot focus on communication, coordination, and accountability, firefighter safety and civilian lives are put at an increased risk. This incident is a clear example why the shift commander should be detached from hands-on firefighting operations to allow them to focus on their command responsibilities. This incident underscores a broader issue, the need for adequate staffing on initial units. Without enough firefighters on scene in the first crucial minutes, we cannot safely or efficiently accomplish the primary objectives of search and rescue and fire suppression. These objectives happen at the same time within the same first critical minutes, and they require trained personnel working together in coordinated teams. Tonight in this room, the difference between having 2 firefighters or 7 may seem like a discussion about numbers on paper, but on the fire ground, in real time, those numbers mean the difference between life and death. Every minute counts, every task matters, and every firefighter added to that initial response unit increases the chance that trapped occupants are rescued quickly, those fires are contained sooner, and that our crews go home safely. The Groton Towers fire was a tragedy that could have been far worse. It is our responsibility to learn from it and ensure that we never face a situation like that with inadequate staffing again. Our community deserves better, and our firefighters deserve the resources they need to protect it. Every minute counts, and adequate staffing saves lives. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kevin Price.
Good evening, Kevin Price, 105 Chestnut Hill Road. I am a city resident, a city firefighter, and the interim president of the Groton Firefighters Local 1964. And I'm also going to speak to you tonight about the need for increased staffing in our department. For more than 25 years, our overall staffing levels have remained unchanged. During that same period, every aspect of our community, our equipment, and our operational demands have not. Our call volume has increased, the number of people we protect has grown, our fire environment has become more dangerous, and the volunteer program that once served to supplement the career staff no longer exists. Despite these significant changes, the number of firefighters we send to the most dangerous and time-sensitive emergencies has remained the same, and it must change. The difference between 1 or 2 more firefighters on scene isn't just a number. It represents capability, capacity, and in many cases, it represents the difference between acceptable and unnecessary risk. Fire behavior today is faster and more volatile than it was 25 years ago. Homes and businesses are constructed using lightweight materials that fail quicker when exposed to heat and flames. Furnishings contain synthetics that burn hotter, faster, and more toxic. In short, our firefighters are entering situations that are more dangerous with less time to make life-saving decisions. During the same period, our responsibilities have continued to expand. We don't just fight fires. We respond to medical emergencies, vehicle accidents, marine incidents, hazardous materials releases, and any other situation you can imagine when someone needs help and doesn't know who else to call. An increase in staffing will help us handle all of these situations more effectively and more efficiently. On an emergency scene, the first few minutes often dictate how the remainder of the incident will unfold. Water supply, forcible entry, fire attack, search, ventilation, rescue are just a few of the tasks that need to occur simultaneously, not sequentially. With more hands, those things can be spread out and accomplished quicker, which saves time. Time that can be the difference between a controlled room or a lost structure, between a recovery or a rescue, and between a firefighter returning safely or suffering a preventable injury. Safe staffing isn't about convenience. It's about efficiency, best practices, compliance with OSHA requirements, and it brings us closer to recommended standards from the National Fire Protection Association. More importantly, it demonstrates to the community and those that protect it that we are preparing instead of reacting to operational realities. I'm aware that changes in public safety are rarely easy, but they are necessary. This increase is not a luxury, it's long overdue. The city deserves the most effective emergency response possible. Our firefighters deserve the safest work environment achievable, and our department deserves to be put on a path towards operating with the resources required to meet the mission we were sworn to uphold. We cannot ask 4 firefighters to do the work of 17. We cannot continue to expect increased performance without increased support. And we cannot wait for another tragedy to tell us what we already know, that more staffing saves time, saves property, and saves lives. What we are requesting is an immediate increase in minimum staffing from 4 firefighters to 5 per shift. We're also asking for an expedited process to hire 3 more firefighters. This is an immediate need. Beyond that, we look forward to the opportunity of working with you to bring our staffing to a more reasonable level in the long term. We've been waiting for 25 years, and this is an opportunity to make meaningful, lasting improvements, not just for the immediate future, but for years to come. Now I'll end with this. As firefighters, we are sworn to protect this community and everyone in it. That responsibility is something that every single person here proudly honors. But you all share in that responsibility, not just to protect the residents and visitors of the city, but to protect us. And what we're asking is that you honor it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Boucher.
Mike Boucher, 16 Hillside Avenue in Groton. My reaction to last week's seawall update at the Cal meeting. The brief overview and timeline was ridiculously brief and of little value to help understand the actual cost and all the steps and missteps of the seawall project. GZA was sitting directly in front of you and the lack of meaningful questions was disappointing. GZA was on board in July of 2023. That should be on the timeline along with other notable events going back to at least 2014. Grant money was provided by DEEP, which was used to hire GZA, and that should also be listed on a seawall itemized cost list, as well as many other costs, such as the BL company's original engineering plans for the seawall, city and GU staff time, and costs related to the project, and many other items. Heidi Commode had stated the seawall was being undermined but offered no proof. There seems to be no studies of structural integrity of the seawall except a Shore Avenue road assessment done back in 2014 as reported by Heidi at a meeting in 2023. That report has still not been presented and I filed an FOI request for this document if it even exists. In fact, many of the comments on the conditions of the seawall by the former mayor and city and GU staff seem very weak and based entirely on the casual observations of the conditions of the cement veneer, but not the actual granite block wall. Comments by GU and city staff and the former mayor on the seawall should be thoroughly reviewed. There should also be a review of GU's failure to accurately identify the location of its utility lines. What's the point of following state regulations, call before you dig, if GU cannot complete this task? Bedrock assumed to be there. Obviously the biggest mistake of the seawall project, other than assuming that the seawall is actually in danger of failure and not vetting the whole project thoroughly, and that's saying quite a bit about how we handled the whole project. In fact, simply just moving the utility lines to a safer location to begin with would have been the best choice since the utility lines were destroyed by the very plans that were meant to save them. Let's get back to the bedrock assumed to be there. BL Company and the city completed only 3 test borings, and one of those borings failed to find bedrock at an acceptable depth. Who in their right mind completes only 3 test borings for a 350-foot seawall designed to be anchored to bedrock? Who in their right mind sees that 1 out of 3 borings fails to find bedrock and does not do more test borings? Worst yet, as part of the bidding process to construct the seawall, a contractor asked, boring B3 does not list bedrock. Does this mean there was not rock refusal? If this is sand at the bottom and not rock, how and where do we drill and grout the rebar to? The answer, the official answer, was boring logs indicate refusal at approximately 13 feet below grade. Bedrock shall be assumed to be at 13 feet. Who is responsible for this answer? As I stated earlier, GZA was on board back in 2023. GZA was working with the city and GU staff when this question came up. In fact, they were working on the RFP with the city and GU. So where did this answer come from? It's ridiculous. I filed another FOI request for all communications between all parties involved in the above question and answer, in which was all part of the seawall process. A question came up about the Army Corps of Engineers being responsible. That's a stretch, but please communicate your concerns with them. I can't wait to see the answer. Voting records of City Council concerning the seawall approval over time? Sure, but it seems the Council was provided with extraordinarily little information, and I personally, after witnessing some of these meetings, would describe it as missing and misleading. So any vote they had, I'm assuming, was just in step with the mayor and probably discussed at an earlier time. Bottom line, former Mayor Hendrick, city and GU staff, BL companies, and GZA have a lot of explaining to do. We now have millions in cost overruns and a cement seawall which will only last 30 to 50 years. And I was shocked when I heard that, because that was a possible estimate of how long the original granite wall would last from now. So we gain nothing except losing millions of dollars. And if anybody needs help with a timeline, like Paul, you've got the skill set to handle this. You ought to take lead on it. I know it's an embarrassing situation for the city, but there's a lot that's not being made available to the public. I mean, good Lord, it seems like I know more than you guys. So, I mean, someone's got to step up. I don't mind that you guys get bailed out, but what I don't like is not telling everybody the truth. And I will keep emailing and notifying state officials, the CIF board, town officials, and everyone else that you guys just plain screwed up and you don't want to admit it. So let's put your best shirt on and tell the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Boucher.
Thanks. And Paul, thanks again, because you really did try to ask questions and find out. I mean, you did your job, so thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak tonight? Go ahead.
Brian Neiman, 76 Allen Street. I've lived in city since 1960. I grew up with my father being a volunteer fireman for Company 1, as well as the EB Fire Department. I lived with calls in the middle of the night, being at a store and the signals going off, and my mother and us having to take a taxi home. That was the dedication of a volunteer. I can only imagine that of the full-time employees. He was a volunteer for the fire department until he was too old to actually fight fires, and then he went with the fire police, still volunteering for the city. There are a number of things as a taxpayer I question where the money is going or why it's going. This is an area that I have no hesitation that is needed and should be supported. And I hope that the safety of the city and its residents will be of the utmost concern, because, like I say, some things I question as far as where our tax money is going. This is not one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak tonight? Okay, seeing none, we have response to citizens' petitions and comments. My one caution is that items are not on the agenda, so responses should be limited and not a conversation. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you again for coming. And like I said, you guys are the bravest here in the city. And to my knowledge, in my years, additional firefighters haven't been requested as far as, staffing levels. It's always been pretty much across the board. In my 12 years, I haven't heard of a request for more firefighters. And obviously from the incident at Groton Towers, clearly it exposed what was wrong, and that staffing is needed. The question will be for us, I guess, going into next year, the budget and what the chief plans to bring forward to us to review and look at, and see what's in what we can afford to have to bring on 3 additional firefighters, which would be great. But we'll see how it goes for next year as far as whether the city, and like I said, we got to go to the Freeman for the final budget to see if they would approve the additional firefighters. So, but I'm certainly all forward for having that if it's necessary, and I stand behind you guys to have that extra staffing that's needed. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Just to update the council, I have met both with the union and with Chief Tompkins. I am committed to looking at staffing levels and to coming up with an appropriate solution. I've also asked Chief Tompkins to look at the SAFER grant, which would help us fund firefighters. So that is something that we're looking at so that it wouldn't be completely on taxpayers. And so that is something that we're looking at this point. Anyone else? Okay. All right, then we will move on to approval of minutes. I will take a motion to approve the mayor and council meeting minutes of 10/20/25.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Deputy Mayor Sheffield, seconded by Councilor Piazza. Are there any notes, any errors that were noted? Any corrections? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. I will take a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes of 11/24/25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Piazza, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sheffield. Any corrections? No. None noted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? That also passes unanimously. Communications and reports. Councilor Norris.
Just a lot of conversations and, I guess, advice on the seawall. Quite a few folks that have texted or called or bumped into me at Big Y. They really want to know what went wrong, at what point, in what phase. And what I also took from quite a few of these conversations, it's not that they want to pinpoint an individual, they want to pinpoint a process, and that it doesn't go awry if we ever do something not of this magnitude, but just our general processes in terms of engineering scope, RFPs, who we use for consultants, bond issuing, companies providing a bond to completion of work, or a performance bond is a better way of doing that. So it was a long week.
Counselor Johns. Counselor Johns, any communication or report? Communication and
Nope.
report? Okay. Counselor Amboise? Counselor Amboise? Communications and report?
No.
Counselor Piazza?
Thank you, Mayor Rusk. I'm trying to do the timeline here, but I know went to the MLK dinner for the awards for the recipients of the MLK Award. Always proud to go there and listen to these recipients receive their awards and know this generation that's coming up is doing an amazing thing in our community and throughout, and hopefully bringing their education where they're going, bringing it back home. Also volunteered at the sub-vets for Thanksgiving and preparing the meals out to first responders, the base, EB, and that was always enjoyable. And that's it to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Sheffield.
Yes, I also attended the Dr. Martin Luther King Scholarship Dinner at Foxwoods, and with Councilor Piazza, former Mayor Hedrick, former Deputy Mayor Depot, and our HR Director.
Oh, now I'm going to blank.
Deidre LeConte.
But
Thank you.
yeah, she was in attendance. So yeah, it was outstanding event hosted by the Mashantucket Pequot Nation, and thank you again for Rodney Butler and hosting the event. And it's they put on a very good event. So and they'll be back next year, so it'll be great. On October 25th, went to the Spooktober Fast Food Truck Festival at Washington Park, and candidate Rusk was there at the time for mayor. She was there, and that was great food over there with those food trucks, and had a good time. And then going into November, attended the press conference with Governor Lamont and Lieutenant Governor regarding the renewable energy wind project in Groton. And obviously we see those big turbines out there in the water on the Thames River, and the resumption of the project, which is a great thing that took place. The federal judge lifted the stay to allow the project to resume, so that was a great event. And Mayor Rusk was in attendance, Councilor Ambra, Groton Town Councils were there, Representative Baumgardner and Gajewski were there, along with, of course, Joe Courtney and all what he does to fight for us down here in southeastern Connecticut. So it was a great thing for all of us down here. And of course, thank you for the union workers that are working on the wind turbine. So we want to give a shout out to those union employees that are working hard and you know, do like I said, through the trials and tribulations of shutdowns and so forth. So, so next, attended the Sub-Vets Memorial Day with Mayor Rusk again, former Mayor Hedrick, former Deputy Depot, and then thank former Mayor Galbraith for bringing all the young cadets together for this event. She's does a great job every year. So, so thank her again, and I think that might be it. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to spend most of my time talking about things coming up in the next couple weeks. So we have the annual holiday festival that the police department puts on Thursday, December 4th, which is this Thursday at 6 p.m. There's a holiday open house at Fort Griswold on Saturday, December 6th. From 11 to 2, Outer Light is hosting a toy drive for Tommy Toy. It's also this Saturday from 12 to 6. Stuff a Cruiser is Sunday from 10 to 2. If you can bring a new toy or food, they're doing a toy and food drive. Avery Kopp is also doing an open house this Sunday from 3 to 5. Lots of things going on. Bill Memorial Library is doing a sing-along Thursday, December 11th, so next week, Thursday, from 6 to 7 p.m. Sunday, December 14th is a pop-up market here from 11 to 2, and then Santa in the City will start at 1 o'clock. And that the map will be out on social media. And United Way of Southeastern Connecticut has a mobile food pantry Friday, December 19th from 12:30 to 1:30. That is a week early due to the holidays, and all are welcome to that. I received a lot of conversation with residents regarding Eastern Point Road being potentially closed down. It will be a temporary closure. I addressed a lot of the concerns that were noted with EB in a meeting today with the police chief and EB staff. So that is moving forward, and I will keep everybody up to date as I know more. And I want to recognize firefighter Nichols and firefighter Gardner for their quick action delivering a healthy baby boy recently. So congratulations. And thank you to, yes, thank you. Good job. And I want to say thank you to Subvets. I was with Councilor Piazza helping get meals out to our local community on Thanksgiving morning, and they do a fantastic job. I think we packed 600 meals in about an hour and 15 minutes. They do a great job, so thank you to Subvets. Okay. We will be moving on to committee referrals. Has the committee met regarding rules? No? Not yet, okay. So hopefully that can happen this next week. You guys can contact the city clerk for a time to meet. Moving on to resolution R-25-12-101. Councilor Norris, will you take that one, please? You can just read the therefore be it resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Therefore be resolved that the mayor and council provisionally authorize and approve the city of Groton to issue a purchase order for the Shore Avenue Seawall Reconstruction Project contract to Emborio Corporation, 231 Shumpike Road, Cromwell, Connecticut, for a price not to exceed $1,250,000 and no cents, to be paid with capital funds. I so move.
Second?
Motion was made and second. Any questions? Councilor Norris.
I guess the question is, so if we approve all this funding, I'm fearful of what some folks are saying is we need to keep moving forward and approve the financing. But some residents fear that once the financing is approved, then our due diligence on continuing to review the process and potentially identify some hiccups along the way and then develop additional process to make sure it doesn't happen, will just stop.
I will commit to you that I will not stop at the end of this. We need to find out what went wrong, why it went wrong, and ensure that that does not happen again.
And if I
I will
may
give you that
say,
commitment.
if I may say, it's not directly connected to what we're voting on right now, but there is also a general feeling that there may have been other projects that fell in this line. So I'm going to vote yes, but thank you very much for, I think we really need to hone in on our processes on how we do projects and project managements, nuts to bolts. Thank you.
You're welcome. Deputy Mayor.
My concern with this 1.25 million, and if this is the final amount, and we all hope it is after this project is done, what happens if something goes wrong? Who is going to flip the bill if something comes up after the alleged completion date? And God forbid if there's a defect or flaw of some kind in the structure, well then, do we have to flip the bill again? Or is Arborio or AZ,
GZ.
yeah, are they going to, flip the bill to correct if there's any problem? That's my real biggest concern is once this is done, will we revisit it, something comes up that should have been seen, as others have been saying, and how do we know this won't happen again? So I'd like that assurance. If this is the 1.25, this is it. That's what I really hope and pray for. But, and like I said, once this is done, I hope we don't have to come back and someone says, well, we have to do this, and you're coming back to the council for more money. So that's what I don't want to happen.
So this funding, I will tell you what I know. This funding is for the milling and paving, or the paving, I'm sorry, and the railing and the sidewalks. I will get an answer for you on the rest of your question.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor Rusk. I've piggyback on Councilor Norris and Deputy Mayor Sheffield's comments. Maybe I should have put it in there when we had the citizens petitions, but I think my thing is with the FOIA request, I feel bad that in some ways that Mr. Boucher has to even request it as a citizen, So, therefore, I think that results in transparency toward the council on projects, and I think it's like really digging in, not just speaking, but really digging in on our practices, best practices, and representing information that's given for us to give the best vote. So, but thank you for coming, and thank you for making your comments.
As you know, I walked into this. My commitment has been to see this project through and then to go back and figure out what happened. I've only been in office less than a month now, but I will do my best to find out more information and to figure out what happened. And this city staff is in that same feeling. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, so we are voting on Resolution R-25-12-101. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? It passes 5-0. Resolution R-25-12-102. Deputy Mayor Sheffield, do you mind taking that?
Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to retain the lobbying services of Medici LLC, 1 Gold Street, Unit 271, Hartford, Connecticut, for lobbying services pertaining to electric, water, wastewater, and any other utility matters as necessary in an amount not to exceed $108,000 and no cents to be paid from fiscal year 26 professional service budget and proposed fiscal year 27 budgets, and that the Director of Utilities be authorized to execute the agreement. I so move.
I'm just going to make a quick correction. It is Unit 27J.
Oh, sorry, 27J?
okay.
Yep.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Counselor Johns? I didn't get your vote.
I was voting yes. I'm sorry. I was
Thank
trying
you.
to unmute.
That was a yes?
I'm voting yay.
Okay, thank you. That passes 5-0. Counselor Piazza, will you take R-25-12-103?
Thank you, Mayor. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to issue a purchase order to Harris Computer Systems Incorporated, 62133 Collection Center Drive, Chicago, Illinois, not to exceed $162,663.84 to purchase annual maintenance and support of the North Star billing system and add-on modules used for Groton Utilities electric, water, and sewer utility billing, and Basra Light and Power Company electric utility billing, to be paid from funds available in the approval fiscal year 2026 customer service budget. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Counselor Johns, are you comfortable doing a resolution on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay, then
So
R-25-12-104.
Yep. Resolution that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to issue a purchase order to Atlantic Fluid Technology, 52nd Southwest Cutoff, Suite 1, Northborough, Massachusetts, a sole source provider for an amount not to exceed $175,494.00, including a 10% contingency for the purchase of 3 KSB submersible pumps to replace the pumps at the West Side Pump Station, to be paid from Regional Green Gas Initiative funds.
If you say I so move. If you can end that with I so move.
Forgive me?
If you can end that with I so move.
Oh, I so move.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Aye. Thank you. That passes 5-0. Counselor Norris. I'm sorry. Counselor Amboise. My apologies. Do you want to read one?
I'll have to pass today.
Okay. Counselor Norris. 105.
105. Oh, a short one. Therefore be it resolved that Jill Rusk, as mayor of City of Groton, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the city council, and to do and perform all acts and things which she deems to be necessary and appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents, including, but not limited to, executing and delivering all agreements and documents contemplated by such documents. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Anyone abstain? Counselor Amboise, I didn't get your vote.
Aye.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Sheffield,
Resol-
R-25.
Yep.
Sorry.
Resolution R-25-12-106. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council reappoint the firm of Bircham and Moses, P.C., 75 Broad Street, Milford, Connecticut, as the City of Groton attorney, to be effective upon passage. I so move.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Have we sought any other attorneys at all? Or
We went out for an RFP.
Okay.
And they were the only firm that came back to us. And I am meeting with them next week to talk about some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Aye.
You're saying yes?
Yes.
Okay. Counselor Johns, were you a yes or a no?
I'm an aye. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, that passes unanimously. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that passes unanimously. We are adjourned at 8:24. Thank you very much.
Good night, counselors.
Recording stopped.
Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.